I think a lot of people can resonate when I say that you used to trust your gut on most decisions and you used to hear that internal voice, that yes or no constantly. But now you're actually second guessing everything. And you can't tell if it's just intuition or if it's actually anxiety talking. And you're wondering what happened. There's this connection that's been lost with your inner voice that you've been really trying to figure out, and that inner dialogue may be gone. And it's actually a very surprising reason why. And I'm going to tell you exactly the way to reconnect it. What's going on? My name is Kyle Nelson. I'm the co-founder of Reset OS, where we help coaches and entrepreneurs re-establish and reconnect what they do and why they do it through a clarity operating system that will realign your personal purpose and your professional alignment through masterminds, coaches, and solo retreats. And we'll dive into those in a little bit later. But in this video, what I want to do is I want to show you why so many high performers just feel stuck in the mental noise constantly in life, and how creating intentional space will actually help create the key to hearing yourself again. We have had breakthrough after breakthrough and so many stories from clients that have been able to have a structured way to create an intentional space to be able to hear that inner voice again. And I'm going to tell you exactly how to do that and the best way to get started on it. And this truly is the foundation of everything we do, but I am a firm believer in allowing as many people as possible know what this structure looks like so they can go and use it themselves. So first, I want to touch on why we can't actually hear ourselves anymore. And there's so many different reasons why that's actually happening. Typically, it's because there's constant input. There's so much going on, notifications and content that we're consuming, and emails and podcasts, and our phone going off, and the people around us constantly chattering. And it can be so hard to actually hear that inner deep voice again, or even really try to tap in to our inner dialogue, just because there's so much input and so much noise. And one of the other big reasons is because we're always reacting. We're always in a reactive mode, and we're never actually reflecting. How many times have you said or heard in a meeting people say that, man, I felt myself starting to boil. I felt my nerves starting to shake. I felt anxious. I felt my heart rate starting to go. It's because we go instant to reaction, and we're not actually reflecting on the actual conversation or the points that are being made. We're not looking at it at a high level. We're taking things in a deep level, which can instantly create a reaction rather than a pro-action approach to a conversation. And another reason why we can't hear ourselves anymore is the inner voice is now drowned out by everyone else's. We are constantly looking for validation. We're constantly looking for what other people would do and what other people would think before even consulting with ourselves and our own inner voice. And we use that as more merit than what we actually know. And we have so much that we know, but we don't have the confidence to actually remove the noise and reflect and actually listen to ourselves. Our inner voice is completely drowned out because of everyone else's. Now, another reason is there's so many symptoms of silence of your inner voice, right? There's so many reasons why we're constantly seeing that people can't actually trust their gut anymore. They can't actually hear their inner voice. And here's some symptoms of a silenced inner voice. One is it's going to be constant second guessing. Every time you try to make a decision, every conversation you have, every time before you want to actually speak, you second guess yourself. You're like, oh, maybe I shouldn't say that. I don't actually have value to bring to the table. Actually, stop second guessing yourself. You are literally silencing and suppressing that inner voice. Let it be heard. You have so much value in life and so much perspective of your worldview that other people most likely are waiting for someone else to bring it up and say in a conversation. One is another reason is, number two is you have indecision fatigue. You are getting into a point that you can't make decisions anymore because there's so many different ways of looking at things and so many different inputs that we have, is you're getting fatigued with indecision. Number three is you feel numb to what used to light you up. A lot of times that's an issue with also purpose realignment, but a lot of times that inner dialogue and that inner voice is completely burned out and it's drowning because we're feeling numb. We don't actually see what lights us up anymore because we're not actually listening to what our body and our soul and what we actually want as a purpose. Another symptom of silencing your inner voice is you're needing external validation to move forward with everything in life. A lot of times you just have to tap into your inner voice and actually go with your gut. And the last symptom of actually silencing your inner voice is going to be you have creative blocks, even when you should feel inspired, even when you're in your lane of genius, even when you're in a flow state. Those creative blocks just don't come out because you're not actually tapped in because there's so much noise. And the last thing I wanted to touch on is what it actually takes to hear yourself again. There's two different perspectives. There's stillness and there's more content. A lot of times when we think there's an issue in our life, we need more content. We need more consumption. In reality, we actually need more stillness. Clarity thrives in stillness. That is what it wants. So when we look at stillness and content, it's stillness. It way outweighs and outbalances it. Another one is there's subtraction and then there's addition. A lot of times we think we need to add more in our life. We need to have more content. We need to have more conversations. We need to add more projects, more productivity hacks, all the different stuff. In fact, what we really need to do is take a step back, subtract ourselves from the equation to actually make firm decisions that have our pure confidence and not reactive decision making. And that subtraction is actually going to have and give us more confidence, and it's going to add more. And remember, when you're in solitude, it will give you signals. And those signals always create clarity in life. There's so much that you're going to actually hear. Your inner voice is going to be so loud, it's going to be overwhelming because you're going to have so much that's going to come out that it's been wanting to tell you. You don't need another 10-step strategy. What you need is silence long enough to hear what's true again in your life. So that's exactly why I have created a 1-day and 3-day reset, solo, structured retreat. This is a tool to hear your inner clarity again, to be able to actually take a step back and have structure. What do I actually do when I'm trying to experience solitude and stillness? What are the questions I'm asking? What are the prompts, the journal prompts? What are the activities and exercise that I need to do for self-reflection? Maybe it's self-discovery, and then also vision crafting. And what's really cool is we're actually forcing you to slow down in our program by sealed workbooks. Every single day there's a new workbook, but we're purposely slowing you down to make sure that you're not opening the next one. And it helps you process through that structure. There's guided practices, audio notes from me and my business partner, and so much more. And if you could just feel it for a second, the relief that you could experience, like all of our clients, when they finally stop the noise of their life, and reconnecting with themselves instead, it's refreshing. And what it is it's a reset. And we have the tool to get you there. So if your inner voice has gone quiet, it's time to reset. There's so much content out there about solitude and so much science and studies about why it's so important. Start looking it up. Literally just Google science of solitude and what it does to our minds and our decision making. So don't ignore the silence inside you. Right? The voice isn't gone. It's still there. It's just buried under so much noise. That clarity's still there. It just takes digging out of the trench you're in order to see it and actually have that clarity in life. You just need the space to craft and to dig to actually get to clarity. Thank you so much for joining me on this video. I look forward to the next one. If you're interested in our program, check out the links below or go to resetos.co.